Do you think it's okay to have a president, though, where there's this open question about whether or not he's in cognitive decline?
Do you think it was okay to have President Trump in cognitive decline for his entire 4 years?
I think he should take a cognitive test like I did. I took a cognitive test and I aced it. Doc Ronnie Johnson. Does everyone know Ronnie Johnson, congressman from Texas? He was the White House doctor. How good did Elise Stepanek do? You know, we've endorsed Dr. Oz. We've endorsed JP, right? JD Mandel, and he's doing great.
Representative Jayapal is as fierce a defender of Biden in private as she is in public. When I met with her in May, she said that President Biden was the most progressive president in our history. And that's saying a lot, considering she is the chair of the Progressive House Caucus.
Because I believe in this man. I believe in his character. I believe that he has been one of the most transformative presidents in our collective lifetime. I really believe it. There's a decency to Joe Biden. And I'm old-fashioned. Character matters, but I'm also old-fashioned in this respect. Results matter. Politics is not just performative, not just entertainment. It's about getting things done. And it's been a remarkable 3.5 years from my perspective.
Yes, and the fact is, she's absolutely right about the cognitive decline of Trump. And the fact is we can see it because we hear his speeches. We hear him talk about the sharks and them being electrocuted.
Beautiful, right? What's better, this or sitting on the Pacific or the Atlantic, which has sharks? Right. You don't have sharks. See, that's a big advantage.
But he hides a lot. And that's why we don't have enough information. And we will never have enough information if he's elected again. When he was president, we had no idea who was visiting him in the White House. We didn't know if there were doctors there because he never disclosed his visitor log. President Obama did, and then President Biden did, but he never did. Not only did he never show us who is going in and out of the White House, which itself should be causing a 5-alarm fire, but doesn't. He never talked about his doctor analysis. Do we know if he ever have a cognitive test? Of course not. We don't know. He didn't disclose his taxes. He didn't disclose his medical history. He didn't disclose his records. And so we don't actually even know enough at all about the person who has so much power in the White House. So you can critique which doctors went to visit President Biden, but you can't critique Trump because he doesn't even show it. So what we do see of him is not only the fact that he has these rambling sentences and freezes in press conferences, but that he lied.
Said there was world peace in 2020. There was very much not. He said he won Wisconsin in 2020. He lost. He said the Democrats rigged the 2020 election. A lie. He said people around President Biden cheat on elections. No. He said people's votes tend to disappear. They simply do not. He said 107,000 people attended his recent rally in New Jersey. That's at least tens of thousands too high. He said he saved Kenosha, Wisconsin in 2020 during rioting when the Democratic governor wouldn't act to intervene. In fact, that governor deployed the National Guard before Trump told him to. Trump said cocaine was found at the White House about a month ago. That was actually about 11 months ago. He said it was hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of cocaine. It was a little bag, maybe generously in the hundreds of dollars worth. He said Biden orchestrated his New York criminal trial. Zero evidence of that. He said Biden was also behind all of his cases, including civil trials. Baseless again. He said Biden wandered off at the G7 and didn't know where he was. No, Biden was briefly chatting with a skydiver who had landed near the group. He said he was indicted more than infamous Al Capone. No, Al Capone had more indictments than him. Finally, he said we're in the worst crime wave in modern history. Crime has actually plummeted in 2023 and so far in 2024. Abby?
And it's only Tuesday.
And that he refers to himself as we when he talks about Russia having submarines.
We were tough on it, and we would not have Russian warships and nuclear submarines surrounding Cuba 60 miles off our coast. You know that, right? For all of you people in Cuba, congratulations. You're now being protected by Russia. Congratulations. Can you imagine that the press, the fake news, those people, they don't even talk about. We have nuclear submarines and 5 warships in Cuba, and they don't even talk about it.
And then even when he talks about his own son, Barron, who has just attended his first campaign rally, what does he do? He compares him to his other sons who have been showing up in their own kind of really flawed way for him. He says that, Barron now is more popular than Don and Eric. This is the kind of person, this is the kind of father who is asking us to give him so much power, which with Project 2025, he'll have and he'll keep, evidently forever, him and the 3,000 civil employees they plan on installing.
Why won't you just take your issues to the American people? Why are you trying to hide your plans that are connected to Trump's Project 2025 publicly, but then you come to the House floor and you bring this extreme MAGA Republican voter suppression bill that is part of the blueprint of Trump's Project 2025. You can't fool the American people. They're smarter than you think.
Walk us through what exactly you found as you look through this list of names.
Sarah, when Donald Trump asserted last week that he didn't know who was behind Project 2025, we decided to take a look at all the authors and contributors who are listed on Project 2025 signature project, this 900-page playbook for his Trump's second term. And we found at least 140 people who were authors or contributors had prior experience working for the Trump administration. Now, this includes people who rose to the highest levels of his government, including 6 people who served as cabinet secretaries, including HUD Secretary Ben Carson, who remains very close to Donald Trump, as well as the cabinet secretary in charge of the Office of Personnel and Management, that's Russ Vought, who I should also point out recently helped put together the RNC platform that Trump approved. There's also several ambassadors he appointed. There are people who worked very closely at shaping his immigration policies, as well as someone who served as a deputy chief of staff. And there are also more than 100 organizations that are heavily conservative that helped advise this project. We found many Trump allies in those organizations as well, including his former chief of staff, Mark Meadows, one of his top advisors, Stephen Miller,
who will never again follow any kind of rules and regulations to keep our air clean, our food clean, and our public schools open, but they will be using those regulations to deny women's right to an abortion pill, a safe and effective abortion pill, which part of Project 2025 is to revoke it.
The conservative in charge of Project 2025 calls their efforts to start a bloodless revolution. The project, of course, is the 922-page wish list of actions to fundamentally change the American government, society, and life. This right here is it, the printout of that plan. The vessel, though, that they plan to use to accomplish it is Donald Trump, who now says that he knows nothing about this project, nor does he have any idea who's behind it. Well, that's BS. No matter which way you shovel it. And when Trump says that some of the ideas are ridiculous and abysmal, while some of that is perhaps believable given his waffling on issues like abortion, much of the project lines up completely with Trump's own promises. Now, this is hardly an exhaustive list, but they include killing the Department of Education, crushing the independence of the FBI and the DOJ, the mass firings of civil servants, and mass deportations. And so while Trump may not be the architect of this blueprint, his loyalists are their developers. He is certainly the mogul. And remember, he always notes that he only hires the best people.
So it's not that they don't care about government. They just don't want government to rein in greedy corporations who want to kind of ruin your food. But they do want government regulation to regulate things like women's choice over their own bodies.
Control guns, not girls. I mean, the idea we're sitting around, this is where Kamala was so good as well. We're sitting around. More children are killed by the bullet than any other cause of death. The United States of America. What the hell are we doing? What are we doing? We got a candidate saying, promise the NRA, don't worry, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to do anything. We got a Supreme Court that is what you might call the most conservative court in American history. This is ridiculous. There's so much we can do still, and I'm determined to get it done.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.